August 22, 1864. 12 countries came together to sign the first ever treaty of its kind. The Geneva Convention sets out to protect victims of war. It covered, however, only the humane treatment of injured soldiers. But by 1949, a new convention was signed to cover civilians as well.
Geneva, Switzerland. Here, 59 nations have met to create and set up an improved set of rules for prisoners of war and civilians not engaged in hostilities.
Today, both Hamas and Israel have been accused of breaking international law in their latest conflict, which began on October 7, 2023. Are the accusations valid? In the fog of war, how does international law come into play? It's been a few months since the Hamas-Israel conflict, and there have been damning reports of war crimes being committed by both sides. Beginning with Hamas's surprise attack on Israeli civilians on October 7.
To kill civilians is a war crime. To abduct people as hostages is also a war crime. The law applies not just to state, but to non-state combatants. Hamas is not above the law.
What exactly are these laws of war? They are part of the 1949 Geneva Convention, which dictates what can and cannot be done during armed conflict.
The Geneva Conventions of 1949 are among the most ratified treaties of all international law. All 4 of the Geneva Conventions have been ratified by 196 countries. Israel ratified them in 1951, and Palestine ratified those in 2014.
These laws prohibit the taking of hostages, violence, and cruelty to civilians, as well as extensive destruction of property not justified by military necessity. It also states that medical establishments, either fixed or mobile, should not be attacked.
There were very clear violations of the laws of war committed by Hamas. These were murder, rape, torture, and the taking of hostages. I'll also add that there are other crimes regularly attributed to Hamas, which include the use of indiscriminate weapons. That means weapons that lack precise targeting capabilities.
By firing rockets into Israeli civilian areas and the continual shooting of rockets into Israeli civilian areas are clear war crimes for which they should be answering for.
إننا نعلن بدء عملية طوفان الأقصى.
Hours after the incursion, this video was released. Mohammed Daif, Commander-in-Chief of Hamas's military arm, claimed responsibility for the October 7 terror attack. On that very same day, and even before it fully secures its borders, Israel retaliates with an airstrike, flattening residential buildings and the Al-Susi Mosque in Gaza. Israel says they housed Hamas operatives.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה. האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו.
Let me be crystal clear. Israel will respond with determination and force to their unprovoked war crimes.
2 days later, Israel launches a 10-hour airstrike, shelling hundreds of targets in the densely populated Gaza Strip. Israel says the targets include a Hamas command center in one mosque, an entry point for a Hamas tunnel, and other operational Hamas infrastructure in a second mosque. But the Palestinian Health Ministry says in those 10 hours, more than 900 people were killed, including 260 children. Another 4,000 were injured.
The violations by Israel are much more serious because they've resulted in casualties that are on a much greater scale than the casualties that resulted from the Hamas attack of the 7th of October in 2023.
When a country is attacked, it has a right to defend itself. But international laws say your response must be proportionate to the attack. So my view is that Israel's response to the attack by Hamas on 7 October is completely disproportionate. I think the indiscriminate bombing of Gaza is completely unacceptable.
I think for Israel, the right to self-defense in this case does pose some very cruel dilemmas. First of all, you have to worry about the hostages. Another dilemma is how to conduct a military operation in a densely populated urban area against an enemy that hides its military assets in that civilian area. But there is a much more fundamental dilemma. There is a general consensus throughout the world. The only lasting solution is a two-state solution. But that two-state solution must rest on a foundation of stability, and stability must in turn rest on a foundation of strong deterrence being restored. But the cruel dilemma is what the Israelis need to do after 7 October to restore deterrence will make a pathway to any lasting solution much more difficult, at least for the immediate future.
Along with the relentless airstrikes, Israel also blocked the entry of food, water, medicine, and fuel into Gaza, refusing to lift it until hostages abducted by Hamas were returned to Israel.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור.
כי בלי רעב וצמא אצל האוכלוסייה העזתית לא נצליח לגייס משת"פ, לא נצליח לגייס מודיעין, לא נצליח לשחד אנשים באוכל, בשתייה, בתרופות, כדי להשיג מודיעין, ואנחנו יודעים שמציאת החטופים היא מטרה עליונה וסופר חשובה לצד מטרות הלחימה.
While I recognize Israel's legitimate security concerns, I also remind Israel that military operations must be conducted in strict accordance with international humanitarian law. I am deeply distressed by today's announcement that Israel will initiate a complete siege of the Gaza Strip, nothing allowed in, no electricity, food or fuel.
الوضع كارثي بكل المقاييس. في أزمة في الغذاء، في المياه، في الكهرباء، يعني الناس مش عارفة تعمل أي حاجة في هذه الظروف. في أزمة يعني لو تروحوا على البيوت تصوروا داخل البيوت يعني حتشوفوا حاجات كارثية جدا.
إن يومين ما خدناش أكل وبضحك على أولادي على إيش؟ حبة معكرونة وطبيخ عدس وأبصر اللاقي يما، وهذه حياتنا. أولادي خسوا النص يدوخوا من قلة الأكل. طب وين نروح؟
في نقص في المواد الغذائية طبعا بشكل طاحن، في نقص في مواد الوقود، في أزمة في الأدوية.
Interestingly, siege warfare actually is not absolutely prohibited under the laws of war. However, there are other rules in the laws of war that render a total blockade unlawful. Starvation as a method of warfare is prohibited. In addition, that the object and purpose of the laws of war is to protect civilians. So, regardless of what the black and white letter of the law says in a particular provision in a treaty, a country always has to ensure that they are upholding that goal of international humanitarian law.
But by the 6th day of the conflict, Israel had already dropped 6,000 bombs in the densely packed enclave, nearly matching the number of bombs the US dropped in Afghanistan in a year. 6 days of bombing killed more than 1,400 people. Half were women and children. Yet, the Israel Defense Forces claimed they provided ample warning each time they bombed a target.
We published a website with maps and instructions to guide Gazans in specific neighborhoods to safer areas. Now, we understand that not everyone in Gaza may have access to the internet at all times, so we're also communicating by dropping flyers with instructions in Arabic.
Now, Israel does give warnings, and actually quite comprehensively, and they are recognized for having a very high standard of warnings by other militaries. But this does not necessarily mean that the entire situation is lawful. If you warn civilians to leave, but give over 1 million people only a 6-hour ceasefire window to do so, this is completely unrealistic. In addition, if you then also bomb that evacuation route and then later bomb the region that you instructed them to flee to, how is the lawfulness of the warning relevant?
Israel's argument is that it seeks to reduce the number of innocent civilians caught up in this to the degree that it can, and that it goes to great effort to do so. The problem with that is what officials say suggests something different. When you have the president of Israel saying, there are no innocent Gazans. If there were innocent Gazans, they would have protested and rose up against Hamas. You have an Israeli military spokesman who, despite what you see on your television, says there's no humanitarian crisis in Gaza. There's a war, but there's no humanitarian crisis.
The most recent criticism of Israel is leveled at their repeated strikes at the Jabalia camp, the largest of several refugee settlements in Gaza.
In the Jabalia refugee camp airstrikes, 2 commanders were killed. The first of which was allegedly the ringleader of the 7th October attacks, Ibrahim Biari. The second was Muhammad Asar, the head of the anti-tank missile unit. Given the devastation of the scale of the attack, the notion and the idea of proportionality in warfare certainly surfaced in a lot of the discussions.
According to Hamas estimates, those 2 attacks alone killed over 190 people and injured nearly 800.
If the benefit from the specific action outweighs the possible costs to civilians in that specific action, then actually, according to international law, is permitted under the rules of proportionality.
A military can decide that there's an important asset that it wants to be able to kill because it thinks that's going to be an important military advantage to it. But in doing so, it's going to have to kill or likely going to have to harm civilians and their property. That's a decision that is legitimate under international humanitarian law, that it's maybe possible and legal that you're going to have civilian deaths and injuries and property destruction belonging to civilians.
November 2023. Israel targets Gaza's largest hospital, Shifa. By this time, this 6-story building wasn't just housing about 650 inpatients, 200 to 500 medical workers, but also thousands of people displaced by the ongoing war.
The IDF has publicly warned time and again that Hamas's continued military use of Shifa hospital jeopardizes its protected status under the international law. We also gave ample time to stop this unlawful abuse of the hospital.
We said all along, they have a control and command center in the Shifa hospital, and yesterday we came out with film footage of tunnels underneath the hospital.
The Israeli military has yet to show concrete evidence of this command and control center. Although it did release this video of weapons it says that it seized inside the hospital.
If you follow me behind the MRI machine, I'll show you what our troops exposed just minutes ago. In military terms, this is a grab bag. Military equipment, an AK-47, cartridges, ammo, grenades, uniform. These weapons have absolutely no business being inside a hospital.
Fighting between Israeli troops and Hamas gunmen outside the hospital intensifies. Thousands of war-wounded, medical staff and civilians are caught in the fighting. Finally, the hospital is placed under siege by Israel. Israel's assertions of the presence of Hamas command headquarters have divided expert opinions.
It's now estimated that network is somewhere between 350 to 450 miles in total. That's bigger than our MRT system in a territory that's much smaller than Singapore. In other words, it's a deliberate decision to build this around civilian infrastructure. And Hamas must know that if you use these tunnels for military purpose, you must expect military retaliation. I think Israel will comply with international law to the extent it is practical, but these are the realities of the kind of enemy that they are fighting in Hamas that does not seem to care. And I think a lot of people who sympathize with the plight of Palestinians, they don't know about these military realities. They don't know what Hamas leaders have said about destroying Israel.
Israel asserts that there are tunnels underneath, that there's a command and control center, and therefore, if the hospital does not evacuate the many people in that hospital, whatever that number is, patients, and so on, are collateral damage. Fact of the matter is that if you're going to build a tunnel network in a given territory, there's going to be a lot on top of it. You know, it's not just going to be military facilities on top of it. It's just the nature of the lay of the land. We're talking about a region which is the most densely populated in the area. And if that is the case, then the targeting of, for example, hospitals becomes questionable.
It is possible for a hospital to lose its protection under international humanitarian law if it is being used for military purposes. However, a state considering attacking the hospital would have to be extremely cautious about going forward with such an attack. It would also have to ensure that such an attack would comply with all of the other rules of international humanitarian law, such as the requirement to issue warnings, but also the overall protection of civilians.
طبعا مجمع الشفاء لا زال يحاصر الى الان، لا زال جنود الاحتلال موجودين في الطابق الارضي والطابق البدروم، هم يقومون بتفتيش الموظفين، بتفتيش المدنيين، بتفتيش حتى الجرحى والمرضى.
أنا كنت حكيم موجود في مستشفى الشفاء، أجبرنا قسرا للخروج من المستشفى بقرار من
According to doctors, patients and displaced people were ordered to leave at gunpoint. But an Israeli army spokesperson has since come out on social media to deny ordering an evacuation. They claim that they were asked by the hospital to help Gazan citizens leave the premise.
בוקר נענינו לבקשת הנהלת בית החולים שיפה ופתחנו ציר מאובטח למעבר אזרחים ששהו בבית החולים דרומה. בנוסף, הכנסנו מים ומזון לשטח בית החולים.
Thousands of people have left Al-Shifa. Palestinian health officials say those remaining are dying due to power shortages. At least 32 patients, including 3 premature babies, died since the siege. The raid on Al-Shifa was just the tip of the iceberg. According to the World Health Organization, nearly 3 months into the conflict, 26 hospitals have been damaged from Israeli strikes. By the 100th day of the conflict, Palestinian sources were reporting that the death toll has risen to nearly 24,000 people, over 2/3 of whom are women and minors. Nearly 70% of Gaza's homes and half of its buildings have been destroyed. This has sparked outrage around the world, with even calls for Israel to be brought to task for war crimes.
So this is a morally complex issue. There's a lot of political pressure on the Israeli government and on the IDF to destroy and dismantle Hamas because of what had happened on 7 October. The Israeli government cannot accept another repeat of that. From their point of view, they really need to ensure that that kind of attack doesn't happen again. But Hamas has made it very operationally and morally complex for the IDF to achieve that. So that is the problem.
But the argument against Israel is that it was indiscriminate or reckless in the way in which it conducted its war by dropping over 25,000 pounds of munitions on a densely populated strip of land.
South Africa contends that Israel has transgressed Article 2 of the Convention by committing actions that fall within the definition of genocide. The actions show a systematic pattern of conduct from which genocide can be inferred.
In January this year, South Africa has lodged an appeal to the International Court of Justice, accusing Israel of genocide. Created in 1945, the International Court of Justice is the legal arm of the United Nations. It rules on disputes between member states, which includes Israel.
I think we shouldn't be naive about international law. Its application is always going to be subject to state interest. So why did South Africa bring this case against Israel, but not against Russia for what it's doing in Ukraine? Or not against Rwanda, where there was genocide in Rwanda for many decades? The reason is because South Africa sees a political interest in bringing Israel to the court, but not in those other cases.
At its genocide hearing, Israel accuses South Africa of painting a profoundly distorted factual and legal picture.
Israel is committed, as it must be, to comply with the law, but it does so in the face of Hamas's utter contempt for the law.
There are lawyers on hand at every specific moment for the military leadership to decide if they're going to take that action or not. If the legal advisor says that such an action would be against international law, then the action isn't going to happen.
In its provisional ruling, the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to do everything in its power to avoid killing Palestinians, causing them serious bodily or mental harm, creating intolerable living conditions in Gaza, or deliberately preventing Palestinian births. The court also took issue with incendiary remarks made by top Israeli officials that could incite genocide.
The court is also of the view that Israel must take measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to the members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip.
However, the court did not order Israel to halt its military campaign, and at this early stage of the proceedings, the court also did not rule whether Israel committed genocide. A final ruling on genocide is likely to take years. Separate from the United Nations, there is the International Criminal Court, or ICC. It was set up in 2002 to bring cases against individuals for war crimes and crimes against humanity. The State of Palestine became the 123rd member in 2015. This means Hamas members can be brought to justice in the ICC.
The challenge will be the State of Palestine, which is led by the Palestinian Authority, Fatah, which is obviously in competition with Hamas, but has agreed to the jurisdiction of the court. Whether or not Hamas leaders would willingly surrender to the prosecutor and agree to face charges in The Hague in front of the court remains to be seen.
Israel is not part of the ICC. It has refused to let investigators into Gaza to investigate crimes committed.
I've just come from the border of the Rafah crossing from the outside of the compound. We could see Gaza. We couldn't go any closer. I very much hope to be able to enter Gaza and also going to Israel on this particular mission. The suffering of children and women and men, old and young, is profound and it is ongoing.
You have to be very clear about what is international law and what it can or cannot do. International law is one of the many instruments of statecraft that states can choose to use or not to use according to their interests. If they choose not to use it, there's not very much that can be done. I think the Israelis will try to comply with international law as far as is practical to keep the Americans on their side. That's as simple as that.